Welcome back to Folk Solo Sports Show. All right, let's talk about Antonio Brown walking off the field in the middle of the game versus the New York Jets. A lot of people saying AB is done and he'll never play in the NFL again, and I can't understand why. Because, in my opinion, if he was upset at this point, he kind of probably did what was best, just taking his equipment off and walking off the field. Because if he stayed there and he had a problem going on with a coach or another player right there, and he start talking and he showed any kind of acts of trying to, like making an argument, it would have been an even bigger story of why he shouldn't be playing anymore. But this right here, maybe he was cooling down and it was already the third quarter. I know it seems like giving up on your team, and he should have probably stayed on the field but stayed down on the sideline, maybe instead of going in the locker room and taking off his equipment. But still, that was still a better decision for me and growth for me, instead of him getting in an argument with somebody if he was having a disagreement with somebody out on the field. And he should not be done in the NFL just because of this. If he's already came back many times for other things, the other problems he had, he should not be done just for this. Tom Brady has screamed in coaches' faces, so you can say Antonio Brown did that to what's the name of the Patriots, and John Gruden when he was still with the Raiders. And you could say all of that, but there's been many players throughout the years who have talked bad to coaches, cursed at them, and many things. Not saying that it's right, but Antonio Brown should not be out of the NFL forever just because of that, because other players aren't. So he should not be banned from the NFL because of this. Keyshawn Johnson, of course, with John Gruden, when he took him out the game, people get mad. So Antonio Brown, at this point in his career, did the best thing, like I said, and he's never really done nothing too bizarre while he was at work. Okay, all that other stuff that we ain't fitting to talk about right here, all that was off the field. Now, he still should be, accountable for all that stuff. But if they ain't say he did it, then you shouldn't bring those stories onto the field still and try to hold him for those, and the stories that's actually happening while he's at work, at practice, in the game. If it's not bizarre, he's not punching nobody, fighting nobody, hitting none of his coaches or teammates or the opposite team. Like, people have disputes all the time, okay? So Antonio Brown should be good. And look, he quit on the Steelers and wasn't coming to practice, even though he said Mike Tomlin said he didn't have to be there. Then got on the Raiders, and something happened with them. And then look, Bill Belichick, he didn't care. Bill Belichick still picked him up right after that. So I expect Antonio Brown to still be picked up. And if Bill Belichick did it on the Patriots, and y'all say he's the most disciplinary coach there is, then why should another coach not try to make his team better and pick Antonio Brown up? He didn't get into no physical altercations with none of his teammates or coaches, and he could still play the game. And it would have been a bigger story if that was the case, instead of doing what he did. Maybe he felt that was the best decision to make at that point. He probably was upset with somebody or something, and he felt that was the best decision to not do none of that and take off his equipment and start going and doing jumping jacks in the middle of the end zone. Like, all right? And I hate to say it, but hey, he minds well. He minds well. Now, this is my Pittsburgh side talking. Now, I'm not saying it's just because I said the Steelers might as well just pick him back up and shoot for it all. If Ben's thinking about this being his last season, him and AB will connect just like that. But that would be good. But any other team that hasn't dealt with him yet, if you're not the Steelers, where he came from, or the Buccaneers, Raiders, or the Patriots, you shouldn't have none of the other 28 teams should not think about picking up Antonio Brown just because of this. Because is that what Bill Belichick did? Is that what John Gruden did after John Gruden heard that he wasn't making practices and showing up for games and doing whatever he was doing? No, they still picked him up. What did the Patriots do? Still picked him up. What did the Buccaneers and Bruce Arians do? And I don't care how much people want to say it was because of Tom Brady. They still picked him up. It was. I'm not saying it wasn't because of Tom Brady, but they still picked him up, okay? So those other 28 teams should not suffer and not be able to pick him up. And he didn't even do that big of a thing this time compared to what people was trying to say about him before. All right, let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, get in the comment section. This is Folk Solo Sports Show. I'll get back with y'all. Peace.